Do you have a butt kicker or transducer that's not getting the job done? Is it shaking to just the low-end sounds? What if it shook when it was supposed to? Sim Vive is an advanced multi-dimensional audio-based feedback software that utilizes 1 to 8 bass transducers and provides the correct physics-based vibrations throughout your simulator. This can greatly enhance immersion and drivability. All you need is one shaker, an extra sound card, and Sim Vive software. Check it out for yourself. Go to simexperience.com and then click on products and then Sim Vive.
Welcome to Inside Sim Racing. I'm John Sable. This is my co-host Darren Ganji, and today we're reviewing the KOR-FX Immersive Gaming Vest.
And some of you may have remembered that we did a first look at a prototype way back in 2010, and actually it looked completely different. It was just basically like a little necklace with these two transducers hanging around your chest. And we also interviewed the main developer, brains behind the KOR-FX, Shahryar Afshar, and that was, again, December of 2010, so it's been a long time in development.
Yeah.
And this vest is being marketed as a 4DFX haptic feedback system.
Yes, and we're going to test it on the PC with Sim Vive, on the PC without Sim Vive, and on the consoles as well. Normally the vest retails for $150, but it's on sale this summer for $135.
Yeah, so depending on when you're watching this, it may be back to $150, but they had a summer sale going. In case you're not familiar with the KOR-FX, here's what Immerse, which is the company behind the KOR-FX, has to say about it.
The KOR-FX Gaming Vest uses award-winning 4DFX technology that transforms the acoustic haptic signals, or the audio, coming from your games or media to pinpoint high-definition feedback that allows you to feel the on-screen action and environment around you. The vest is fully customizable, putting you in control of the amount of action that you want to feel from your game.
It's not a rumble pack. Rumble packs use spinning motors to create vibrations. Their acoustic haptic technology uses audio to create precise, directed haptic output with special transducers. This output echoes into your chest cavity and turns your body into an instrument that allows you to feel the environment extremely accurately. And John and I are here to tell you whether or not that's how we felt about it. KOR-FX is fully compatible across a range of media and devices and can be used with anything that produces audio.
It comes with a vest, dongle, USB power cable, and 3.5mm male-to-male adapter. The vest requires 4 batteries to operate, and if you don't have a USB power source, the dongle box requires another 4. You'll still need at least 4 batteries to start.
They also sent us something called a boosteroo, which you would have to buy as a separate accessory, and basically, if whatever signal that you're using to output, whatever sound signal you're using to output to go to the vest, if it needs a boost, you can use something like the boosteroo. And we found that we needed it yesterday on the console.
Yeah, we need it on the Xbox One.
Which basically we were going Xbox One into an HDMI monitor and then using the headphones jack out. And we weren't getting much signal with that. So we plugged the signal into this, or the dongle into the boosteroo, and then the boosteroo into the TV, and that really enhanced the signal.
It did.
So anyway, we got the boosteroo.
It doesn't come with a manual, but you can go to KOR-FX.com/start and learn how to set it up there. There's also PDFs at the website and some very helpful videos that helped us out a lot.
They did. They were very intuitive, and we learned a ton from them. At the start page, it also states that you need to put the vest through a break-in period, and I've read one thing and heard something else. At the website, it says 8 hours to break it in, and then Seth, the guy, I think his name was Seth, the guy that did some of these videos, said 30 hours. That's a lot of friggin' gaming for break-in.
Yeah, I would say we probably got 8 hours out of it.
We did.
But we didn't get 30.
No. Another thing quick too to note about this vest, and some of you may have been wondering as you're watching some of this footage of us using this thing, there's some safety notes that go along with it, and basically the KOR-FX, and this is their marketing jargon, generates powerful emotional and physical effects. Please use caution in using this device. And they're recommending that you take regular extended breaks, and if you have any kind of heart condition, you probably either should check with your doctor or consider not using it. I don't know if I had any heart condition at all, I wouldn't even risk using this thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Because as you see in our footage here, it sits right on your chest. So anyway, let's get to what we tried it with and how it performed.
Yeah, first off, we tried the vest with Sim Vive on Darren's PC. You know, it took a little bit of work getting it all set up, but once we did, it worked.
It was worth it.
It was worked pretty well.
It was, and if you're not familiar with Sim Vive, it's basically technology that has been developed by Sim Experience, and it takes data from the driving sims and puts it through the sound card, or grabs it from the sound card, and then converts it to rumble effects, basically. And so you can tune engine noise, road feel, shifting. So when it shifts, you feel a thump. So we were able to tune all of those things individually. And I think we tried it with the boosteroo. Without it, didn't make much of a difference. So we were getting plenty of signal out of the sound card.
Yeah, we were. And I think we ended up pretty much with 3 settings: engine noise, shift noise, and then vertical movement. So going over bumps, when you go over rumble strips, you get a lot of movement. Same with going off-road. And that seemed to transfer pretty well.
Yes, it did. Also tried it on the PC.
Yeah, tried it on my system without Sim Vive, and that's where we started kind of running into, I don't know, it not working quite as well.
Muddled effects, I think, is the best way that I thought about it. Where Sim Vive was giving us direct, effects. Again, this works off of sound or audio, and that's how butt kickers were initially developed, where you basically you're doing a pass through, and it's taking the low end signal and creating effects, or you're getting effects through the transducers, which a transducer is a silent subwoofer. So if you're not sure what a subwoofer is, Google it. You'll find out it's basically a speaker that handles low end sound. So there's basically 2 transducers here in this vest, right here, as a matter of fact, that are pushing up against your chest, that are basically taking those signals and turning it into vibration. So again, like we were talking about on the PC, the effects were kind of muddled. And there's different filters that you can set.
Yeah, and the filters, they didn't seem to make too much of a difference. I think the issue was on just the PC, just going off the sound, is engine noise. It was just vibrating away essentially the whole time. And one of the big issues I had was I would get the most vibration when I was driving on the track full throttle, and then say if I went off the track, I got less vibration. So when I'm off the track, I'm trying to save the car. So I'm out of the gas, the engine noise isn't nearly as loud, and I actually got less vibration.
And engine noise varied from car to car.
Yes.
So driving like an F1 car that's high-pitched, high-revving, you're not feeling as much. It's more, or like almost feeling like a buzzing sound.
Yeah, it did a lot of vibrating, and it was hard to differentiate.
Then you went to like the Aussie V8, I think, and did you drive the stock car as well?
Didn't drive the stock car, but the
Aussie V8's very similar.
Yeah, V8, very similar sound, and that I was able to tell some difference on throttle, off throttle.
Now what about going into the wall?
Going into the wall, I mean, I definitely felt a vibration, but you're so overwhelmed by the engine vibration that you don't feel it very much, or if at all.
Back to the muddled effects.
Exactly.
Matter of fact, we just did a piece on the Logitech G29. We were talking about clipping. It's almost like it's clipping.
Yeah.
It's like you're getting too many effects at once into the vest, and it has a hard time. It doesn't differentiate. I mean, basically, it's just a speaker, and it's going to get what's coming through.
That's right. Unlike in Sim Vive, where it is, picking up what the software is doing with those shift effects, engine sound, like I said, the vertical movement. In straight audio, it's not.
Now, what about on the console? We mentioned we tried that on the console. We tried it with on the Xbox One, Project Cars, F1 2015, and Forza 5. Speaking of which, on the PC, tried it with iRacing. Did you try Dirt Rally?
Dirt Rally, Assetto Corsa, F1 2015 as well.
So quite a variety.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we also, John tried it with Grand Theft Auto as well.
I did.
Because he wanted to see what it felt like in a completely different environment where there's not as much constant sound. In sim racing, you've always got the sound of the motor going. So you always got constant feedback coming through. Where some of these shooter games, which I think this is developed more for,
Yeah.
there was a difference. I only tried it on the console with Forza 5, I think it was. And again, once we put the boosteroo in, I was feeling, a lot of it was just vibrating from the motor. But then I started running over some cones and stuff. No, I don't have any footage of this, but I started running over some cones and I felt, I felt it,
Yeah.
I wasn't really feeling stereo, so left to right. Positional, I wasn't feeling anything position-wise. Then what was your take? You tried it with, again, all those different titles.
Yeah, I mean, you got, I think, what was the best experience that I had with it on Forza 5. Forza 5, the sound, I think the engine sound isn't quite as loud. And when we did one of the city tracks, and going over the cobblestones and the railroad tracks and some of the rumble strips.
Prague.
Yeah, we definitely felt more. So that was probably the best experience. Project Cars, it was just kind of all noise. It was a lot of vibrating. In Project Cars, I even went and did it in a race to see if I could feel the cars around me, to the side of me, behind me, and it was just overwhelmed with the sound of my own engine that I couldn't really tell where they were at.
Now, so what about Grand Theft Auto?
Grand Theft Auto, on the other hand, I think worked pretty well. And like you said, I think it's what this vest is intended for. Shooting, explosions, even if it was really cool, there was a storm going on and there was thunder. And thunder went off and felt that, and I was like, oh, that's...
Helicopter you were mentioning?
Helicopter, yeah.
You feel the helicopter off?
Yeah, and I feel like when I was, cornered by the police, that I was getting a better sense of where the firing was coming from, and it was coming from everywhere, but...
So it definitely sounds like this vest is developed more for games like that. But then again, we liked it with Sim Vive.
With Sim Vive, it felt pretty good.
It did. So let's get to some pros and cons. Let's start with the pros, and I'll lead us in with some pros here. And I just mentioned one, works well with Sim Vive. It's affordable. $135 right now, $150 even on the normal pricing. It's affordable, and you get everything. You don't get the boosteroo, that's a separate deal. But you get everything we mentioned at the top of the show for that price.
It has lots of adjustability. I mean, we're definitely two different sizes, and I was able to snug it up tight for me, and you were able to loosen up for yourself. Yes,
exactly. And then lots of tunability as well. There's lots of different things you can tune. Volume, you can tune left to right. There's 3 different filters. Filter 1 is for more low end, and then filter 2 and 3, you hear more, which we didn't really see much of a difference between the 3 filters.
Yeah, I would have liked to heard a little bit more difference, and they even said in their instructional videos that the differences are very minor and that you need to spend some time playing on one before going to the other to really see. And I did that, but I struggled to tell a difference.
It's lightweight, so you can't really feel it when it's on. Except for the heat factor, and we'll get to that in a minute because that's one of the cons. And then detailed instructions, both in the PDF and the videos. We were able to watch those and read from the PDFs to learn how to set this up, and it pretty much was a breeze. I mean, it wasn't tough to set up at all.
Yep. And on to the cons.
Actually, hold on before we get to that. One more pro is wireless. I guess that could be a pro or a con. Some people could look at the wireless as maybe there's being some lag, input lag, but I didn't really notice any.
No, I didn't.
So I'd say the last pro, sorry to cut you off there, John. Last pro is that it's wireless. So now on to the cons.
Yeah, first con is it's battery powered. As we said earlier, it requires at least 4 batteries to run. And another con that we had was it's hard to know if it's on or off. And we thought we had it off, but we left it on, and we killed the batteries.
Yeah, so you hold this button.
On.
It tells you if it's on or off.
Off.
So if you run for a while, like I ran that race, and I forgot that I had left it on, and we drained the batteries.
Yeah,
that could be a pro or a con too.
It could be. I mean, I would say a little light on here would be nice.
Yes.
Even though I tend not to like too many really bright lights, especially if I'm racing like in the dark or something. But a little something would be nice.
I think an auto off feature would be nice.
Yeah.
But then on the pro to the batteries, you're not wired.
Yeah.
You're not wired up at all at the vest. So that having batteries there is a pro. And I wouldn't say that we felt the effects as the battery started to drain. We didn't feel them get any weaker.
No. Another con is this can get pretty warm in the summertime. I know you did an iRacing League race with it, and you said how hot it was after. I'm like, oh, it can't be that bad. And then I started driving it for an extended period of time, and I was like, this is warm.
It is. Well, and the transducers, they don't heat up a bunch, so it's not burning your skin, but they get a little warm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and again, I mean, this thing's padded pretty good, and it is lightweight, but it's just putting something extra
exactly
on the core of your body. Mm-hmm. I mean, they name it the KOR-FX because it's going into your core. Mm-hmm. So the heat, your core temperature's got to go up a little bit. I bet if we took our temperatures, or our core temperature somehow, I bet our temperatures went up a little bit after extended use.
Yeah, I agree.
And they talk about taking breaks. Mm-hmm. But man, when I ran that race that day, John was laughing at me when I got out of my rig, because besides the adrenaline from the race, it being 90 plus degrees here in the summer, and we're in a basement too, so we don't have air conditioning, but it stays pretty cool for the most part. I mean, you don't see us sweating right now, and we're not having any air running. I was sweating my ass off. And part of it was because of the vest.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the combination of everything, but the vest definitely contributed. Mm-hmm. So, another con is your arms were hitting it.
Yeah, when I first started driving, I thought it did a pretty good job of staying out of my way. I didn't really have any issues. And then I think I jumped in F1 2015 and got in a couple tighter radius corners. And yeah, there were times where, I was hitting with my arms and it was getting kind of bound up a little bit. So there are certain situations where you're going to knock into it. Now, you kind of fight your way through it. It's not too big of a deal, but it is a minor con.
Yeah, that didn't really affect me. And I was in heated battles in that race.
And you were running on a really tight track too.
Yeah, so that I didn't have that problem, and we're built differently too. So that may have been why John was feeling it and I wasn't. Mm-hmm. So anyway, final con is basically just does a lot of vibrating, and I personally think it needs to be tuned more for low-end sound.
Yeah.
And not take in as much of the mids and the highs, because that's why I think we're getting so much muddled sound. Because like when I used to run transducers, butt kickers, without Sim Vive, sure they would thump when music was playing in the title screens and stuff like that, and Sim Vive doesn't do that, but it basically just went off the low-end sounds. Mm-hmm. So we weren't getting, and you could tune the amp to dial in high-end frequencies or mids to highs, where this you can't, and you're pretty much stuck with what it is. And let's get to some closing thoughts on that, because we're done with the pros and cons. I really think if this was developed to handle more low-end frequencies in a sim racing application or racing game application, I think it would work. It would perform better.
I agree.
I liked it in Sim Vive. Mm-hmm. I definitely thought it added an extra element of immersion. Would I buy it in conjunction with Sim Vive? For $135, yeah, I think I would. Mm-hmm. Just to add that extra element. Let's say I only had one transducer. Mm-hmm. With this, I think it'd be a great addition, and especially for the price. I have two transducers right now, and sure, it adds a little bit of extra immersion, but I don't think I need it.
Yeah, you're already getting that body vibration from your second transducer.
Well, I have a transducer right in my seat.
Exactly.
So I'm getting it from that, and I have a transducer at my pedals, so I honestly I'm getting it in my core already.
Yeah.
Now, standalone with Sim Vive, probably be pretty cool with a good sound system, just to give you some extra, effects coming through you. I think it would be cool. Mm-hmm. And then, now what about for just general gaming? Because I didn't try it with general gaming, and I wanted to, but I will. But do you think it's worth the cost of admission for that?
I think for general gaming, especially you play a lot of shooters and stuff, I think it could be. As far as racing goes, I think it's a little more of a stretch. Like I said, I was just getting a lot of vibration, and I don't think it was really enhancing my experience with just PC or just on the console as far as racing goes.
So I'm going to get you a Sim Vive license, okay, from Sim Experience. Will you use this?
I'll give it a try. Yeah, I think it is worth to do with Sim Vive, where you can go in there and customize it, and you get vibrations based off of what you're doing driving-wise versus just what you're getting audio-wise.
I agree. Okay, so anything else?
I don't think so.
So I think that's going to wrap things up for the KOR-FX Immersive Gaming Vest. We'd like to thank Immerse and KOR-FX for sending us this vest to check out. We're going to continue to do some testing if we find some other things about it. I know they're going to be working on a version 2, and they wanted my feedback. We're giving it to them here, but I'm going to talk to them, I think, on the phone within the next couple of days here to give them some more feedback. But it's pretty cool. You know, I think it needs some work, but I think it's for a start. You know, for their first product, I think it's pretty cool.
It is, and we'll, like I said, drive it some more and get those 30 hours.
Yeah, sounds good. For John Sable, I'm Darren Ganji. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.